Welcome to Inside the Mink, your go-to spot for everything happening on and off the diamond all summer long. Today we have our first ever interview. I'm excited to introduce Trevor McCollum from Washburn University, the senior outfielder from Overland Park, Kansas, attended Shawnee Mission West, and is a Meek League veteran. He's been playing for the St. Joe Mustangs. It's about to be his fourth year. Let's begin. What keeps you coming back to St. Joe?
Man, I love the atmosphere up there. First and foremost, I just luckily got paired with a great host family my first year there, and they've really become just part of my actual family. And along with the coaching staff, all the other players, we have a lot of returners every year, so I built that connection with them and built a bunch of connections with the fans up there as well. As it's a very tight knit community, and you get to meet a lot of new people up there.
Yeah, especially you have sellouts every night. You pack the stands. Do you feed off that energy that the crowd gives you?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the first game playing there, I can remember it. My first at bat, I was like, "This is the most amount of people I've ever played in front of." And after a few weeks or about a week, you get used to it a little bit. I mean, not fully used to it, but it's more of like every time you hear your name being announced or the fans cheering, it just kind of gets you a little hyped up and ready to go for the game.
And then last year, you guys had a phenomenal year. You had 40 wins and won the title. What would you say separated you guys from your opponents?
I would say kind of our chemistry. I mean, we were together every single day.
Hmm.
One thing about the Mustangs is we play a lot of like out of league games as well. So we
Yeah.
don't have a lot of off days really. So you're with the guys every single day. And I think we learned how each other play. And it kind of felt like if there was a guy struggling at the time, the next guy was going to pick him up. And there was full belief every single time you went up there.
Awesome. So last year, you had yourself a really nice championship series. Game one, you had yourself an RBI and two walks, scoring a run in game two, and then 1 for 3 in the finale. What was the key to maintaining your composure in multiple ways, driving in runs, drawing walks, and then scoring in the championship series?
I'd say most of it came from just thriving off the energy that was there.
Mhm.
First game at Clarinda, they had a good amount of fans up there, most I've seen up at Clarinda. So it was cool to get that kind of crowd there as well. I mean, a bunch of St. Joe fans drove up as well, so it was kind of it almost felt 50-50 fan wise. I remember we did our whole motto every year is we don't lose at home. So
Okay.
it was cool kind of going out and getting that first loss out of the way because I feel like every year when we're in the championship, we always lose one game. So it was a good time and just feeding off the energy was really the main part.
And you've made it to the finals 3 years. You won 2022, you lost
Mhm.
2023, but won 2024. Just what does it mean to be in the finals consistently? And is there like some more pressure when you're there?
Uh, Definitely you can feel a little bit of the pressure. I wouldn't call it like a bad pressure. I think of it more as like a um, kind of like a intensity is what I would use.
Mhm.
It's everyone's locked in for the game. Over the summer ball, like the regular season, it's hard to stay focused every single day, every game. It's mentally draining and physically. So just really locking in and being prepared helps us go every single day.
And then what keeps that drive all summer long? Because you have those long bus rides, you have weeks where you play 6 of the 7 days. Just what keeps you going?
I'd say kind of the love of the game, especially up there. The difference from school ball to summer ball is a lot different. You can just go out there in summer ball and just have fun. I mean, Johnny, our coach, is a very laid back guy and kind of lets us do what we want. Doesn't ever get on to us. So it's nice and relaxing knowing that you have trust behind you that you can just go out there and play your game.
And then what do you do on these bus travels? Because I've been on a fair share of mine. There's you go to the Netflix phase, you go to the sleep phase, and then what do you do?
We play a lot of Moth. I
Okay.
don't know if you've heard of that, but all the guys get together on the bus and we kind of go through that. A lot of Netflix as well. And I make sure to bring a pillow every time so I can get some sleep in as well. But I mean, those are the main things that we do. It's pretty chill on those bus rides.
So do you recruit first round or you kill first round type of
I'm
guy?
the narrator usually
Oh,
whenever I'm a
narrator.
player.
Okay.
So I mean, I don't really I like kind of setting up the roles and doing all that, but when I do play, I'm definitely a kill first round guy. But I'll change it up every once in a while so the people don't know it's me.
So how'd you get into that narration? Is that something you've done in like at Washburn, or is that something you just picked up for the Mustangs?
I don't really do much at Washburn. I don't play a bunch of them off here at
Okay.
school. I'm kind of a front of the bus guy, just kind of chill on my own, do my homework, all that stuff. But I think it came with kind of age going through the Mustangs. First year I wasn't a narrator, but the more you're there and the more kind of tenure you have there, the more opportunities you get. So,
Okay, so let's take a step back. Like, when did you get introduced to baseball and how'd you fall in love with the game?
oh man, I was like 5, 6. I didn't play t-ball, but my brother-in-law um, just got married to my sister when I was about 5, and I remember it was in a little trailer park in like Bates City, Missouri. He taught me how to hit for the first time, and I just had this conversation with him not too long ago due to my like senior day and
Hmm.
baseball kind of wrapping up for school, but that really got me started on it, and then ever since then I've been playing, and it's kind of weird knowing that it's going to come to an end here soon because it feels like all that I've known, but I'm kind of excited for the next step as well.
Okay, what advice would you give your younger self, kind of going back? Like, you just picked up a baseball, you're hitting it for the first time. What advice would you give about the road ahead?
I tell myself it's a process, really. You can make changes, you can work as hard as you want, but every single day there's going to be a different outcome. You can be the hardest worker and it will take you places, but you have to keep in mind that there's a process behind it, and one day to the next might be a different outcome, but if you continually work hard, then it'll all even out.
What is a favorite baseball memory in the Mink League that you just like really can't get rid of? It's gonna be with you forever.
I think my first year in St. Joe, that whole year I had like 4 real close buddies on that team that I met. One was from like Washington, one was went to the University of Kansas, Dylan Carey up in Nebraska, and then uh, Tyler Petrosino, which was a Rhode Island kid. So guys from all over the country kind of met and we really bonded. And then that first championship, the game 3, when Jack Wagner hit a like 3-run homer, it just set the place on fire, and it was the loudest I've ever heard it. I think that whole year was just a blast.
And then summer ball, you get guys from all over the area. You get guys from out of state, you get guys local. How do you kind of get that chemistry that you said talked about that you guys thrive off of?
I think it's just comes with time. Last year, luckily, we got off to a hot start, which I think in my previous years we've kind of struggled a little bit at the beginning. We go through some ebbs and flows, but last year it just kind of everyone took off from the beginning, and you could tell that just by the first day. We had a ton of returners last year, which was great because we all knew how to play with each other. But then the new guys came in, and they all just gelled very well together. So I think that's how we get going to start it.
So I'm assuming you were kind of a leader at Washburn. Have you kind of transitioned that with the Mustangs as well with your age and all that?
Yeah, I think being an older guy, you kind of learn how the game works, and it kind of took me a while here at Washburn. My first 3 years, I was playing a ton, and then kind of had a down year last year and this year. But you can find ways to contribute in different ways, and a lot of it was me just keeping the energy up, whether that was on the bench or in the field. But just kind of
When you're younger, you came into the Mink when you were a freshman. How was that kind of like evolved? Because like early on wood bat, you might not be used to it. Now you've played a couple seasons with a wood bat. Have you seen any struggle there?
I think I came in my sophomore year. My
Sophomore
first
year,
year
okay.
I spent out in North Carolina, and it was good. There's definitely a difference between wood bat and metal bat. You'll see the first few weeks of summer ball, the ball's not hit around as hard, um, just due to the guys not being used to the bats. But once the summer gets going, then everyone's average starts to climb and it becomes more of an offensive league. But at the beginning, it's definitely a pitcher's league. So I think just making that adjustment as quick as you can, getting used to the smaller barrels and the smaller sweet spot. But once you get it going, it kind of clicks and the adjustments made. So
The real question is, will we see any torpedo bats breaking out this summer, or are you gonna
yes,
get one? You
yeah, a
are?
little insight. There are the Mustangs have we got some torpedo bats coming in. So
Fancy.
I want to see how they work. I got two this summer just to I've seen the kind of trend going around the MLB and I wanted to see if it does make a difference or not. So I'm not sure what I'll be swinging yet. I swung a old hickory for the last couple of years and I really like that. So I'm not sure if we're gonna stay with that or go torpedo. So I think a couple rounds on the cages will determine what's gonna come out on the first night.
How, how often do you break these bats? Are you like, can you keep it for a pretty long time, or is it like you break once a week? Or
No, I'm a once a summer guy.
really?
Every year one bat is broken
Well,
and it
that's my
stays that
bad. I
way.
probably just jinxed that.
Yeah, I know. I'm hoping to keep it one bat, but no, I tend to a bad habit of mine is kind of slowing my swing down whenever I realize that I'm gonna get jammed or something. So that kind of helps me out without breaking the bats, but I've kind of learned just to swing through it and swing hard. So I have a feeling there might be a few more broken bats, but fingers crossed it's only one or hopefully zero this year.
That'd be impressive. An entire summer with one bat.
Wow. Wow.
So, kind of just a random question. What is your favorite combo that you guys wear? So, like, you like the white jerseys? What's your go-to for the Mustangs? What's your
Man,
favorite?
that's tough. The Tenderloins jerseys that we wear on some promo nights are
Yeah,
one of my favorites because they're like an actual jersey and they're lightweight, but um, can't share all the secrets right now, but there may be a new look coming out that I think's gonna
really?
that's gonna look really nice. But no, the traditional just white with the red undershirt's kind of a classic, a staple that we have. So I love that. But no, I'd stay tuned for the jerseys coming up because they look pretty sick.
That is awesome to hear. So, I'm gonna kind of go to the only segment I really have on this show called the lightning round. I'm gonna
Hmm.
ask you as many questions as you got in 30 seconds. One of them is a little longer. I might hold off to the last one and might even ask you after just because it's a curious question. So,
Yep.
without further ado, you ready?
Yep. Let's
All
do it.
right. Walk up song.
Something by J. Cole
Favorite player growing up?
was Alex Gordon.
Day or night games?
Night games.
Favorite MLB team?
The Royals.
Turf or dirt?
Good dirt.
Pre-game snack?
PB&J sandwich.
Hardest position?
Probably catcher.
One goal this summer?
Hit a bomb. Haven't
Your
done it.
jersey number?
7.
Molded or metal cleats?
Metal cleats.
And then the one question I was really curious about, would you rather hit a walk-off home run or throw somebody out the plate to win the game?
Definitely a walk-off home run.
Okay. Have you
Yeah.
had a few in your day?
No. So in summer ball, I haven't hit many home runs. I haven't hit one with St. Joe yet.
Well,
So
that's a big field, so that's a
it
tough one.
does. It plays huge. Gotten close, couple off the wall, but just haven't gotten it over yet. So it's kind of
I'd,
a goal of mine.
yeah, I'd say St. Joe and Chillicothe are two places that's
Yeah.
so hard to get out of there.
Yeah, I agree. Those fields are huge. But then there's some smaller ones in there that are fun to play with and you can bop the ball around. But
So then kind of uh good dirt. I mean the new age today, everyone's turfing it up. So you like the original baseball.
I do. I'd rather take a turf field over a bad dirt field, but a good dirt field is awesome. I know Jeff City has a really good field. I love playing down there. Carroll has some good dirt up there. Trying to think of anyone else that really has a nice dirt. Can't really think of any others in our league, but
Hmm.
a lot of places have turfed it. St. Joe doesn't have bad dirt, but I mean it's nothing compared to kind of Chillicothe, or not Chillicothe, Carroll and uh, Jeff City. Because I mean,
What adjustments did you have to make going from high school to college?
I think the biggest adjustment was kind of the velocity you were seeing, the break on the balls, on the pitches as well. I don't think defense was much of a adjustment other than balls were getting hit harder at you, but being an outfielder, it's not a huge adjustment defensively, but offensively, definitely um, the movement on the pitches and just getting your timing down has always been a big part for me. I think going in the wintertime, facing going back home to KC, facing some pro arms, you can just kind of tell the difference between even college and professional pitching just by the movement on the pitches.
Mhm.
So it's been a it's been a good adjustment that I've had to make, but it took me a little bit my freshman year.
So then where do you prefer to play in the outfield? Are you more of a corners guy or do you like to play center?
Uh, I enjoy center the most just because I know that I have kind of the control over everyone. But I think due to my arm, I'm project more as a right fielder.
Mhm.
So I know this year Braden Lucar will be in St. Joe, who's been there, was there 2 years ago, and he just won a Gold Glove in the MIAA. So I imagine he'll get most of the time in center, but right or left is fine with me. I know our outfield this summer is going to be stacked with our Darius Freeman from last year, and then
Mhm.
Luke coming back. It's gonna be a good time and a lot of power numbers out of the outfield, hopefully.
So that question, you already thrown many guys out at the plate to win a game then, right?
I have one for sure. I remember in St. Joe, it was against Clarenda, who's kind of our rival, and
Mhm.
our they sent him, and I knew right as it left my hand, it was gonna beat him there. And then our catcher, who was it was my first year there, his name was Rob Butler, got kind of picked it and tagged him, and then sliced his hand open. So I mean, it was an interesting play. I was excited until I realized we're probably not going to have that catcher for a couple weeks, but it was a fun memory for sure.
And then you said you were studying for finals. What did you major in at Washburn?
So I'm a ad and PR major with a coaching minor, but right out of school, I have other plans of what I'm going to do, not relating to that. So,
Okay, so what do you what's kind of what your dream job per se?
um, so next year I'll be a strength and conditioning coach up in St. Joe at
Okay.
a baseball academy up there. So I think if I can move up the ranks and kind of get into like strength and conditioning for like a pro ball team, whether that's
Mhm.
minor league, and then work my way up to the majors that way. But I think I want to stay with the fitness realm and go with that.
That's awesome to hear. So while I was scrolling on your Instagram, I saw that you were a part of a Bible study. 12 of your
Mhm.
teammates got baptized. Just what does that faith mean to you?
My faith is everything to me. We wouldn't really be on this earth if it wasn't for God and I kind of thank him every day that he's put me in a position to where I am today to kind of spread his word. And it's always been a big thing for me, especially when I got into college, kind of creating a Bible study with our team. And then I was just fortunate enough to have 12 of my teammates get baptized this year, which was a really cool experience for me.
That is awesome. I'm faith driven as well. What's your favorite Bible verse?
I have Luke 137 on my arm right here.
That's
Uh,
awesome.
so I'd say for with God, nothing shall be impossible is kind of a verse that I've lived by. And I also like Philippians 4:13 as well. So
Well, that's awesome to hear. I appreciate you taking your time out of your day, your busy schedule to
right.
do this interview. Any last words you'd like to say?
uh, roll Stangs. Let's get it this year. I know a lot of the guys are excited. So
Well,
let's
that's
get
all I have today. Thank you for joining me. I'm excited to get to watch you play, and I'm sure we'll have a couple interviews with you this summer, and I'm excited to see how the Mink League shapes off. So have a great rest of your day, and I really appreciate this.